Hi guys, welcome back to another fully operational Star Wars LCG videocast, bringing you more coverage from the Preston regional in the UK back in May 2014. This was held at the Harlequins Games Centre in Preston, and we're lucky enough to have Anton from the Frozen in Carbonite podcast join us for some commentary. Hi Anton.
Hi Andy, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, my friend, always a pleasure. So just to introduce the players, we've got Ste on the left playing as the Imperials, and Grinrod was briefly on camera but seems to have just left his chair. There we go. So Grinrod on the right playing with the Jedi affiliation. So, Anton, what are your thoughts? Imperials and Jedi back in this meta when, Dash and Freeholders were still around.
Yeah, it's not a normal one, but Steve seems to have a good start on resources, 6 to play with.
Yeah. Two Imperial commands is always it's always nice, and mono Imperial as well. Back in the day, aggressive decks were a rare sight because of the false report being flipped. But interesting to see him do so well with the Imperial decks. Steve, obviously a great player. I think I went on to face him in some of the later rounds, so I can testify to some of his plays. They were quite good. And what does...
Grinrod's running a Jedi vehicle deck, which you don't usually see too often, only in speeders usually. So it's good to see how he plays around with this.
So do you think that's the kind of running Jedi purely for the pilot Luke?
No, I think he's actually got Red 5 in there. I think that's the
Okay.
objective down there.
And then a couple of B. So he's got the Blue Squad's report objective for the B wings, defensive Yavin 4 to be able to get vehicles out cheaper. And is that Journey to Dagobah?
I think so, yeah.
So that's reaction when that leaves play. You can go get another one, I think, can't you?
Yeah.
So good mix of Jedi and Rebel. And Steve's just mulling over his turn. Dark side obviously critical to get the most effective turn one they can. Get up those blockers. I mean, with 6 resources open here, Anton, would you throw down a big walker, an AT-AT or two, or would you be looking for sleuth blockers?
Yeah, my style of play would be sleuth blockers, and seeing that type of deck on the other side, possibly would be expecting type of sleuth style deck. You've also got to be careful how you use your 2 resource objectives, because if he goes all out and uses them, this next turn's not gonna be too great.
Yeah, I mean, Imperials usually don't do too badly for resource generating characters like Motti, so he might be okay. But yeah, like you say, he could be okay with some characters, or he could find himself with 2 resources next turn, which will slow the game right down. And Stormtroopers coming straight out. Oh, that's a good set of blow. 3
Stormtroopers.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know the Empire's got a lot of them, but that's ridiculous. Okay. So if Grinrod is running sleuths, that's painful. I don't see any in his hand though, and obviously he doesn't have any objectives out to pay for him.
No, he's only put 1 Stormtrooper on the force, so we know the way Lightside likes to play. All we need to do is lock that 1 card out, and it should be easy taking the force next turn. So when I play my deck that just throws out chuds, I like to try and put 2, maybe even 3 sometimes, all on the force. So it really puts the pressure on the light side, having to try and lure all 3 of your defenders in.
And Grinrod triggering Blue Squadron support there to draw 2 cards, keep one of them and put the other on the bottom. I think he kept a rookie pilot.
Interesting.
Which, sure, the other card must have been bad. Medine.
Oh, nasty card.
Medine on his own though. Of course, can pay 3. That's more like it. Blue Leader is my kind of card, a brutal attacker.
What Steve's also got to be worried about with Madine's objective not out is possibility of Rebel Commandos dropping in.
Yeah. Now Medine does. His reaction is remove a focus token every time an edge card is revealed.
Yes, revealed on that one.
But Grinrod happy to just sit back, take the force, slow the game down.
See, if Steve had put 2 Stormtroopers on the force, would have kept the force that turn.
Yeah. I wonder if Steve's just keeping some of those force allocation cards back to play on the big hitters like your Motties. Because if you commit all your Stormtroopers, I guess you're locking the force down in the first few turns, but then you've got 3 1-pip units on the force.
I always find with these Imperial decks, especially ones with like heavy blast, you really need to get that clock up quick in the early turns to then finish it off quickly in the later turns with your blasters.
It's true. It's true. And what we feared has come true. No resources out from Ste on turn 1, so he does find himself with only 2 available here. So let's see if some magic can happen. The 4th and final Stormtrooper, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that General's Imperative? Does that give him an extra reserve value?
Yeah, that gives him an extra card. So, good news is he's got a lot of cards for edge.
That's true. And the orbital supply station, which I think makes 4 cost vehicles cheaper. Quite a nice little 1-drop enhancement there.
I wonder what he's going to do now.
I'm trying to look at Grinrod's objectives. I don't think any of those actually have a reaction that turns off. So it's not like a raise the stakes where it's worth putting a damage on it just to remove that ability. So I wouldn't be surprised if Steve just passes a turn and stays available with the 3 defenders here.
Now, would you take the force here, Andy, in Steve's position?
Again, I think I think I probably would. Given your comments about ticking the dial up as fast as you can, you don't want Lightside having the balance when it goes to their turn if you can avoid it.
Also, I want to keep General's Imperative available because it's the only one that turns off at the moment on the board.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you do commit all your force cards, they're on Stormtroopers. They're going to die at some point, so you'll get them back. But doesn't, and just passes the turn. And damage on General's Imperative, so...
Say goodbye to that rookie pilot.
No, yeah.
I see a lot of event cards in that hand.
Yeah, I can see. We'll put that there.
Some fake cards too, so I get a feeling Crix is going to be coming back.
Blue Squadron support activated again there, so for a resource enhancement and another edge card. Fake card even. And goes for the resource. Trusty old X-Wing. Which the more and more I see that card, for 1 cost, that's a good unit.
Yeah, 1 cost with 2 health, you can't complain. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's got the blast damage if you can manage to win an edge, so... And is that rapid fire from the B-Wing set? So, great in multiplayer. In single, 1-on-1, it's just one resource for 1 damage. And the X-Wing goes in. Now, do you think he's trying to clear a path for the B-Wing here?
Yeah, you want to at least take out 1 defender. I think you probably also want to try and clear out some of Steve's hand, just in case he's holding twist, because you don't want your your fake cards twisted away.
Yeah. I think with the B-wing, with the blue leader committed to the Force, I mean, ideally, he's so good at attacking those objectives, you'd want him swinging as much as possible. So I think try and clear the board for defenders, tactic some guys out with Cricks if he's available, and it looks like he will be, so that you can make that B-wing as effective as possible when it does swing.
So Crix comes back, but I think Steve won the edge battle.
Yep, X-wing goes bye-bye. Stormtrooper does his job. Going in with blue leader.
This is where that extra damage he can deal out can hurt.
Yeah, can finish off those objectives when you don't realise it. But again, not the worst thing, leaving General's Imperative on 3 damage. It's within Rebel Assault range. But I think, unless Grinrod's intending on taking the Force with Crix, I'd be tempted to swing with Crix to lay down a tactics first. And as I said, clear the way for the B-wing as much as possible. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I guess that would be a good idea, because just in case Steve did play another edge card, could bring Crix back in again.
Yeah. Oh.
I think he won the edge, defender wins edge on draw, so goodbye blue leader.
Yeah.
He's being bold.
Is he thinking about it? I'm not sure if he wants to commit to the battle.
Because Steve didn't take the Force the last turn, Crix doesn't have to take the Force to take it this turn, so...
True, that dial is slowed down. And chooses not to block with the Stormtrooper.
I was thinking there, you've got nothing to lose with blocking there, do you?
No,
Grinrod had no cards, you could have put 2 damage down on Crix. You knew you weren't going to win the Force, so...
Yeah, I think it's no cards in hand for either player there, so it would have been a guaranteed win for the Stormtroopers, which would have turned off the tactics and done 2 damage to Crix.
Yeah, I think you just would have let the unopposed through.
But a full hand now for Ste, and no hands or units up for defence for Grinrod. So against an Imperial player with plenty of resources to play with, this could turn pretty quickly.
4, something big's coming.
5, 6, Devastator, or the AT-AT Assault formation. Oh baby, oh baby. Now if there's one card I want to see made into a playmat, that's one of them. That's up there.
I've always wanted to get hold of the aggressive assault playmat. It was out last year.
eBay, my friend.
Looking on eBay, yeah.
eBay. No hope for us over here in the UK anymore. What a brutal unit though. 4 health, all black combat icons. And remind me what its reaction is? I can't remember.
If it's attacking a Hoth, it deals extra damage to Hoth objectives. So it's like a home one, but only on Hoth objectives.
Okay.
Something similar to that.
Brutal.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? The assault formation will go against blue squadron support. Okay, on those.
Atats look to be swinging in at something.
It'll get 4 damage with unopposed, so.
Ooh, and an extra icon of his choice, I think.
Blast damage.
Okay. So yeah, that does it. Close that up. And
Down, clicks up. Commit to the force. And again, only one stormtrooper up. So
I'm not feeling very confident there.
and there's commando operations.
Which, thinking about it, in Grinrod's position, that's probably something I wouldn't like to see. So I'd still like to, it's now your command, if he does draw any commandos, they won't be coming out.
That's true.
no, I had to play heroic sacrifice. I played heroic sacrifice before. If I hadn't, imagine it wouldn't have helped. No, it would.
Steve has looked very open here.
The sacrifice, which would have forced you to sacrifice. Not for heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, Crix can finish off the General's Imperative on his own. Guaranteed to do his damage, the Stormtrooper can't kill him. So, Fleet Command Centre, so resources are really ramping up.
I think Grinrod here made a mistake with how he paid Fleet Commander out there. I think he used his Jedi resources when he needed to use at least one Rebel.
The resource match requirement. Okay. Shame that was missed, but I mean...
I think looking at it, if he just reordered the way he did it, it probably didn't affect the turn.
Yeah.
But he's got home 1 out, and that's not looking good.
So home 1 paying 2 for a snow speeder. And 1 for that X-Wing. Yeah, like you say, there was only two Rebel cards played there, so Grinrod could quite easily have reordered the payment of those resources. It's a shame it was missed on the day, but a lot for the UK. It's the first time a lot of these players are playing in official events, and especially under the camera.
That is a powerful turn for the light side, getting some good hitters in there.
Stormtrooper's got a bit of a job ahead of him.
Decision is, who do you go with first?
X-Wing on the damaged Imperial Command. I wonder if he's hoping here to just win the edge battle. It'll definitely be unopposed if he does. That'll do 2 to it and leave it within striking range of home 1's reaction. Quite a good play.
Tough decision here whether to defend or not.
When I played home 1, I had a club center in my hand which actually had 4 blast dragons, I think. I was like, I should have just played that. So we need what with all the hot stuff I've got out.
I think you may as well. The Stormtrooper's not going to do much to home 1. And if you can stop the 2 damage from the X-Wing, could be crucial.
So Grinrod's gone all in here with his 2 cards left.
Is he gonna?
I think he's got 2 cards in that pile.
I think he's got
Steve's
1
put 2.
close to his hand.
Is it in his hand? Oh, yep. He's hiding it.
3 for Ste. Oh, just 1. X-Wing escort.
Women's Battle Hoth, but obviously if things
Oh dear. Use the battle off. Oh, Crick's back into play.
You go first. Yeah, I think he's put a decent character in. He's focused.
So Crix is available, but the X-Wing does die. No damage done. But an open board now for two further offensives. A speeder sent against generals, surely. Yeah. And let home one swing for the undamaged one. Maximise its firepower. That would be my call. And then shove Crix on the force.
Sounds a good play to me.
I mean, that's what he's there for, Crix. He sits back in the command centre and calls the shots.
Yeah. I wonder if we ever get an enhancement card, Crix's whip. He walks around with whip, doesn't he?
So 3 damage on the one and then 1 to the other one.
Yeah, I hate it when home one hits home. It's nice.
It's brutal. It's worth every penny of those 5 resources.
Speeder was going to kill the top one regardless. Yeah, he was going to kill the regardless. It makes no difference, that's the thing. Then I'm going to commit.
And commit Crix. Good shout from Grinrod there. Takes the force. I think the dial's only at 5, probably going up to 6 now. If that.
An unstoppable advance.
Number 2 resource.
This is ridiculous. Imperials do what Imperials do best. And draws up.
Fortunately, with the dial so low, going out all offensive isn't going to get you to 12 at the moment.
Oh well, if there's anyone who knows about ticking that dial up when your opponent's not expecting it, it's you, Anton. Surprise Devastator here could be just what the doctor ordered.
Don't think, it doesn't look like he's running it. I don't think I've seen any cards from Devastator.
Steve counting up all his resources. I think you'll need both hands to count that.
What Steve really needs now is an officer. He needs someone with tactics. He needs Veers or Colonel Strack, someone like that who can at least try and attempt to put home one out of play.
Yeah.
Let your stormtroopers deal with any of the low cost.
Oh, forward command post there for. So that attack formation, when it's shielded, will get another blast damage.
It's nice, but it's not what he needs right now, is it?
No. I mean, I think here my choice would probably, you've got a good set of attackers there. The attack formation can take care of an objective on its own. So I think see out the next turn, stay defensive, try and stay alive, and then go out swinging next turn would probably be my play. Especially with 2 attacks out now, you can shield on the defensive and try and keep those objectives alive.
The assault formation.
Sounds like Steve's declaring an attack.
He's brave.
I guess it's in the name, the attack assault formation, not an attack defensive formation. Go for it, Steve.
Which one would you go for, though? One's going to help you.
I'd leave the Jedi, because it's not coming back next turn. I'd get rid of defensive Yavin, just in case more vehicles are coming out.
The attack is going to go against
You've got to win it here, Steve, surely. One, two.
Please hit top objective. And then from my perspective, sorry. Right.
So 2 plus 1 for the shield, 3, 4 for the unopposed. Jedi goes as well, dials on, I think, 10. And Grinrod gets to choose one, of course, with the reaction. Mobilise. Which I think, now this might be one of the gentlemen commenting on an earlier game from this tournament might have picked out in the comments from that previous game. I think Mobilise is actually a Rebel-only pod.
Yeah, I think you're correct there, Andy. Yeah.
Wow, which is interesting. So it's a Rebel-only pod in a Jedi-affiliated deck with Han Solo coloured sleeves. Grinrod is loving Star Wars. Focus that AT-AT. And a hero's resolve, so... So Pilot Luke is in there.
It's a very odd deck from Grinrod. Did you think with Pilot Luke he'd go all speeders, but he sort of had a bit of a mix of everything?
I mean, it's hard. It's one of those tricky ones. There are those staple decks that you see at most tournament reports. But at the end of the day, play what you like, and if Grinrod likes home one, fair enough. And this is just looking... Oh, it just got worse. Yeah, this is looking a bit dicey for Steve now. He's got to find a way to... 2 health left on the top Imperial Command and only 1 left on the centre. A home one could end the game on his own here. And I think he will. Even if Steve wins the struggle, Stormtrooper won't kill it. I mean, what's your play here, Anton? Is it just block with both, or block with one and hope you have a heat of battle?
I think that's all you can do, really. Yeah. Not much else you can do.
Defender wins, but Stormtroopers gonna do...
So I focus that, it does the damage to the middle objective, which kills it. And then does 2 blast damage to the bottom objective, which kills it.
Yeah.
Also does damage to that, which is relevant.
2 damage to the objective he's attacking, 2 damage to the Stormtrooper and kills it. And then the reaction finishes off the central objective, so clinical home one pounding there by Grinrod. Like I say, an interesting deck, but seemed to come together when he needed it. So let's see how it moves on in game 2. So I think Steve got the down to 10, so he's got a bit of playroom in the second game and try and win a little bit earlier. So join us again for game 2. Also, guys, don't forget to check out the UK and Ireland Star Wars LCG Facebook page, as well as the UK's best Star Wars podcast, Frozen in Carbonite. Links to both are in the description.